Good morning. It is another beautiful day. What are you grateful for?
Today is my Success Book Club special edition on a Wednesday. And I am calling to, I'm actually going to introduce you to a guest that I met through social media. I saw her put up a post about her book, really focused exclusively on helping people to find their purpose. And I'm like, you know what? I got to have her on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Avril. Good morning.
Good morning, Melissa. Good morning.
How are you today?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm well, girl. I'm loving those yellow roses.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
So, could you introduce yourself to our audience and tell us about your book?
Absolutely. As Melissa said, I'm Avril Scarlett. I am a woman that is led by faith. I am a woman who believes in God, and that is my center. I'm also an IT specialist, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist. I founded a charity, Each One Reach One charity, and now I can add author to my list of accomplishments. My book, Purpose Awaits You, speaks to your why. Why are you here? What is your purpose? We're just sojourners here. So what are you doing with your journey? So that is what the devotional and journal is about.
Oh, fantastic. Hey, good morning. Thank you for joining us, Marcia. Good morning, Desiree. Deidre, I'm so sorry. I'm not wearing my glasses, y'all. DeAndre, apologies. Good morning. Avril, you're gonna have to help me out, girl, when this thing comes up on the screen. You see, I'm like sunglasses out because the sun is in my eye. No reading glasses, but we're gonna touch the people together. How's that?
We're doing it together. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love what you said about the different hats that you wear. For a lot of us, particularly women, we take on multiple roles. And I loved hearing that philanthropist and entrepreneur are two of the hats that you wear.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what kind of business do you have?
Okay, I do online sales. And then I now have under my hat, I just started a new kids apparel and accessories business. And it was an idea. It's my daughter's idea. She's 6.
What?
And she came to me during the pandemic and she said to me, Mommy, I want to remind kids that they're children of the King. I want to make merch. This new name, merchandise. We're getting
Wait, hold up, back up. Your 6-year-old came to you and says, Mommy, I want to make merch.
Melissa, my 6-year-old, and I said, so how are you going to do that? You're not working. And she's like, Mommy, you can lend me the money. And then when I sell my merch and my accessories, I can give it back to you. And I'm like, wow. What a blessing. It's a great, went ahead and got her company registered. I just met with a trademark attorney, getting the trademark done. Logo is ready. She has already made some merch. We have already had some orders, but we're not going to launch until the end of November. So that's one of the businesses. And I also have a little store, online store. I sell things mainly in Jamaica. And I also am a personal dresser. So I do.
Listen, a lot of Jamaicans, we have like 25 different jobs. I love it. We do a kidpreneur show. And so I've decided that I perhaps want to do one per quarter. So keep in touch. We'd love to have your daughter to come back to showcase her merch.
Yes.
So what inspired you to write the book?
Most of my story inspired me. I'm the second child from my mother and the first from my father. And as a young child, my mother gave me to my father. And so I grew up my dad was a man of means and my mom was a woman of none. I wouldn't even say little. She really had none. And so I was back and forth. I was living with my dad, but I was visiting my mom and I could see the disparity. And though in that time as a child, I believe that, I was thinking, why would my mom give me away? Didn't she want me? But as I grew older and I started reading and I started understanding, I realized that that journey was journey to purpose, right? And so I had to unearth some of those memories, some of those trauma, because it was traumatic for me, though I had financially and I had material things. What I wanted emotionally, I didn't have, because I was struggling. I was struggling with not being with my mother and seeing my siblings there with my mother and me being with my dad. My dad, you're from Jamaica, Mel. You're from the Caribbean, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm from Jamaica. Mm-hmm.
administering punishment, it can be brutal to me. And I'll just put it out there right now on your show. It to me was physical abuse, right? And I believe that I was physical abused, and I'm looking from a distance, watching my mom, and longing to go there. And so I started taking the nuggets. I started saying to myself, what have these experiences come to teach me? And what can I glean from them? And it was not until I got to my 20s and I met the late Reverend Dr. Sandra Morgan, who was my mentor. And she began, sowing into me, speaking life, speaking love, reminding me of my worth. That is when I started to understand that every experience that I've had in life was preparing me for purpose. And purpose isn't a destination, it is a journey. So every step of the way, everything I went through was preparing me for a time such as this. And so I decided, use my story and pen this devotional and journal.
Purpose awaits. I'm here for it. Yes, Rich. Me too, honey. Janine, good morning to you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, Colleen, I'm happy that you're enjoying the show. Thank you for watching. That's so true. I believe that sometimes things are not happening to you, they're happening for you. And a lot of times that is the hardest thing for us to grasp when we're in the midst of our trauma, when we're in the midst of the storm. It's a little bit of a challenge sometimes for us to recognize that this too is passing. And when it does, everything always works out for your highest good.
And you're borrowing from Romans 8:28 there, where it says, in all things, Christ works it out for our good. Yeah, we are picking up nuggets. We're learning from it. And what it is that adversities are inevitable. It is how we handle them. It is how we go through them.
Right. Well, adversity, in my opinion, is how you grow. It's how you learn. I remember growing up in Jamaica as well. I remember, my paternal grandmother raised me. And I remember one day I was in grad school at University of Miami. I must have been like 21, 22. And I was feeling a particular amount of stress. And I remember calling my grandmother. She says, baby, come home. So I went home. And I remember putting, the little hassak or a little stool was outside the kitchen, and I sat on the floor and put my head in my grandmother's lap, and I was crying. And I said to her, grandmother, I don't know why things have to be so hard. Why do I have to struggle so much to get what I want? And you know what my grandmother told me, Avril? She said to me, that everybody in this life has to go through some sort of struggle in order for you to become the person that God meant for you to become. It's a part of the process. And if you struggle if you flow through life in the beginning, at some point, whether in the middle or the end, you have to go through some struggle before you leave this earth.
Absolutely.
I can't hear you. Are you speaking?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm hearing you now. Yes, go ahead.
Every single experience, good or bad, is preparing you for purpose. It is preparing you for your why. Why am I here? And one thing I know, though, purpose, it's so nebulous. It's a nebulous word. It's so hazy. And I think what people cloud it with is what they want to be. And sometimes the social media algorithms and the people they surround themselves with are the ones who are planting seeds. But purpose starts with the creator, the one who created you. And to find purpose, you have to go back to the source. And the source is the creator. And the what, you just ask yourself why. And this question can be answered if you just shed all the weight, all the noise, you just still all the noise, all the social media noise, all the people who tell you that, hey, you can't do it, or somebody saying, oh, you need to be an attorney, you need to still just stop all the noise and go back to the source.
Go back to the source. I love that. So your book, hi, Lynn. Good morning. Good morning to you too. Good morning, Jermaine. All right, call them.
In foreign
Oh, yes, the Ottoman. Yes, the Hassak. Yes, thank you for the translation, Jermaine. Thank you for the translation. So, does your book then guide people back to the source?
Absolutely. I could not write about purpose without writing about the source, because my purpose is helping people to understand their why. And how do I know my purpose? Because I went back to the creator. So I have to send them back to the source too. And the book will probing questions. Some questions, when my editor was going through the book, he said to me, and he's a friend, he said to me, Avril, you have me an interest. I can't even answer some of these questions. I have to be really digging deep to answer some of these questions. Says, yeah, you're going to have to go to the source, and then you're going to have to turn your eyes on the inside. Michael Jackson says, man in the mirror, you're going to have to look deep into yourself and unearth those things. And I'm here. I love it. If they need somebody to help them and coach them through it.
I love it. So then the book is a devotional and a journal. Yes. So does it like have daily prompts, and it takes you through help me to understand the book itself?
52 weeks journal and devotional. And the weekly, you have daily questions, daily Bible verses and questions. And that will center you for the day. You'd have to read the Bible verse, and then you get a question, and then you'd have to search yourself and jot that down and answer the question. And by the end of it, you'd have come up with your purpose statement and who you are.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. So this is actually really a good daily practice for somebody to add. So yes. it includes journaling and meditation and really the practice of sitting still. How much time would one need to devote to be able on a daily basis to the practice?
I really believe that would be personal. I honestly believe that would be personal. And I want to share something with you. In the foreword, Reverend Mark Hamilton wrote the foreword for me. He alluded to Mamba. Everybody here should know the great Mamba basketball. And he said, anything you want to do, you'd have to be intentional about it. So personally, right now, I do a gratitude jar. I wake up in the morning, I write 3 things that I'm grateful for. And I sit and I thank God for those 3 things. I spend 5 minutes in prayer, and then I spend 10 minutes in worship. So personally, I do about 30 minutes in the morning, but people would have to really know what works best for them. 10 minutes would be great for the devotional. You get in there, you read the Bible verse, you look at the question, and sometimes you may have to go through the day thinking about the question I asked. And in the night is when you'll come up with it and then grab it back up and start writing again. So I think it will be a personal journey, and people would have to set their own schedule as to how they'll use it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I know that creating time to be introspective is very important. Jermaine says, yes, the book is an invitation to return to God in an intimate way. You can't go so fast, Natasha. Remember, I have the glasses. Okay. I can't wait to get the book. Speaking of which, how do people access the book, Avril?
Okay, they can go to purposeawaitsyou.com and make an order. Right now we're having pre-sales, and they get a beautiful pen. And as I shared with you, my daughter has her own company now. So she's, giving me a leather bookmarker to go with it if they order.
Listen, hold up. Reverse. So your daughter has mastered the art of cross promotion.
Yes.
Of creating vertical alliances in the marketing merch space.
Yeah, she's like, okay, one bookmarker for the book, one leather bookmarker for the book for those who order early. Yeah. So,
Oh, fantastic. And then I'm sure her bookmarker has her website where if you like the bookmark, you can go and purchase additional merch.
absolutely.
I love it. What's your daughter's name, by the way?
Ariane.
Ariane. Okay, you guys. So you heard it here. Pre-order the book, and Ariane is going to gift you with one of her bookmarks.
Oh.
Turn your eyes into the inside. That's so true, Janice. So
Yes.
you've mentioned before that as you went through your life, there were a couple of nuggets that you learned. Could you speak a little bit, like what has life taught you?
This is the one that I always go back to because it's how I founded Each One Reach One charity. Um, and I'm going to share a little bit of the story. So I remember at one point my mom had nothing to eat, and I went to visit her. My dad had just really administered some beating, really, really brutal beating. And at this time, Melissa, I think I was about 10. And I said, listen, my mom is going to have to take me or I'm going to run away, right? And so she lived about a mile or half a mile from where I lived. And I started trotting, walking up the road to go to my mother to say, hey, listen, I can't do this, right? And on approaching her gate, I always get emotional, but I want to share this story because I know it will help somebody. And on approaching the gate, I heard this song. I'm going to sing just for 30 seconds. As the world look upon me as I struggle along, they say I have nothing, but they are so wrong. In my heart, I'm rejoicing, though I wish they could see. Thank you, Lord, for your blessings on me. For there's a roof up above me. I've got a good place to sleep. There's food on my table and shoes on my feet. You gave me a love, Lord, and a fine family. Thank you, Lord, for your blessings on me. And Melissa, I'm like, huh? When I walked in and I saw my mother singing that song, beautiful. She has this wonderful
Mm.
voice. And I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God, the roof has it's a makeshift roof, it's a tarpaulin. And my brother is running
Mm-hmm.
around in a cream underwear with holes in it. And there's a bed made with Kaya mattress that I can see the Kaya mattress in it. And it's
Mm.
one room and the earthquake, I mean, the walls are broken, no door. And I'm like, this lady is here singing about roof up above me and a fine place to sleep. You know what I mean? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
coming from
Mm-hmm.
a two-story house. I have my own room, carpet in it. I have a library at home, two different sets of encyclopedia. I get weekend money. I go to Shakey's Pizza and Ligani and Creamy Corn whenever I want, however I want. And I'm running to this lady now to say to this lady, listen, take me out of this misery. And this lady is thanking God for the
Mm.
sugar dumpling that she has in the pot and the chicken back that is filled with oil that is unhealthy. She is there worshiping God. So I'm like, come on now, Avril. Right now, you're going to attend. You are going to have to understand that where you are right now is a part of your process. And if you can do what your dad says, even if you think it's crazy, just do what your dad says. To not get any of those beatings, you need to do this, but you cannot go into that house and tell this lady that you're going to run away or she's going to have to take you. So in that message, that song that my mom was singing is a powerful, powerful message for me, a powerful, powerful reminder to be grateful. So I do my three gratitude, my three things that I'm grateful for in the morning, to thank God for the process and the journey.
Mm.
Just remember that it will get better because my mom is really doing good. She had a stroke and she's a little bit physically impaired, but she's done great. She's made it out because
Mm.
I stayed on the journey to purpose.
Yes, yes, yes. That's such a beautiful story. Have you ever had a conversation with her to ask you why she decided to let you live with your dad?
Love that question. I love that question because I started writing a memoir, Melissa, and I
Mm-hmm.
started a memoir using the stone that a builder refused became the main cornerstone. Because my
Mm-hmm.
purpose was to really help my mom to be a life partner with her. So I had the money and I had the thing, I had to sow into all of my siblings, my maternal siblings,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so when I started writing the book, I'm like, Avril, you're writing from a place of your hurt and your pain, and you cannot write from pain and bitterness. And so I went to mom and I said, Mommy, we need to talk. And I spoke with daddy too, and he said the same thing she said. She said, listen, where I lived, Avril, they were raping babies. Where I live, I could not look after a girl child because my older sibling is boy. So she's like, and your father had the finances because your grandmother was there. So you would have female and male in the house. I couldn't do it. I don't know where you would be now if I had kept you where I live. And so I understood the strength it had to take her girl baby and give her to her dad and say, take care of her for me. So
Mm.
I could not write that.
Wow. So she did the best she could, and she
Absolutely.
provided you a place to, she provided you, she gave you away with love. And you were
Absolutely.
still close to her because you lived a
Oh,
mile away, so you could see her
yes,
whenever you wanted.
yes, absolutely. Yes,
That's a
yes,
blessing.
yes,
Our story is similar in the sense that I went to live with my grandmother when I
yeah,
was a week old.
yeah.
And I
Oh,
lived with
you
my grandmother
remember.
until, yeah, I lived with her until I was 10. And then I went back to live with my mom in America. So, that it's sometimes as a woman, you do what you need to do, what you think is best for your child. And being that child, you think like the child and you just
Yes,
realize what you're missing. But the minute you become a woman and you can look through it through the eyes of a woman, then you
yeah.
really fully understand why your mother made the choices that she
And
made.
when I unearth all of those traumatic experiences, I understand now. And she had to do it. She had
Yeah.
to do it. It is divine order. She had to do it for me to get to this place. And I can tell you this, Melissa, I can say this to you today. I'm glad she did it. And I would not
Mm.
have wanted her to keep me.
Well,
This
listen,
is
that
what I
line about that they're raping babies where she was, that's a powerful reason to not keep your child, your girl child, in that environment, if that's the best that you can do at that moment.
yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm. Fantastic. She's saying thank you for sharing your private pain with others. Yeah, that's so beautiful, Jermaine. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging Avril. Yeah, that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
And I look forward to getting your book. You guys, please do share this video. First of all, the Done Wisdom, like and follow the Done Wisdom Morning Show, and do share the video. All right, good. You ordered your copy already. Fantastic.
Yes, I
And
saw
you
it, Janice.
and you can go on the website to get it, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So make sure you like the show and follow us so that you can hear more beautiful stories like Avril. And then, of course, go ahead and get her book. Do you have any final words of wisdom that you can share today?
I do. I do. Um, Finding purpose, finding your why, as I said earlier, always leads back to finding the one who created you. So you have to go back to the creator to find your why. And in finding your why, you have to be intentional. It will never get done unless you choose to do it. That's it.
That's it. You got to get it done. And it's a choice. Happiness is a choice.
It is.
No matter what you're going through,
It
you
is.
you can you can choose to smile or not.
It is.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it's a challenge when you're in the midst of your storm, but do know that this too is passing, and when it does, you'll realize the wisdom of whatever it is that that moment had to teach you.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
What had
indeed.
come to teach me? Yes.
Well, my dear, let's keep in touch. I'd love to have you and your daughter back on.
Melissa. Thanks for having me.
Of
Thank you.
course.
You're doing a great job. By the way, let me just pause to say you're doing a great job, you, Natasha, and the platform that you have here, for people to showcase their talents, who they are, and their purpose. I commend you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, this is a platform created by women, for women, and of course, men who love and appreciate women.
I think that's all, man.
All right, my dear. I would love to get your book as well. So you have my information.
Yes,
Email
I
me the
do.
wait. I have the link.
Have a great day. Mwah!